Welcome to Horror News Radio for October 17th, 2022. Join us for casting news for The Strangers and Fatal Attraction. Both of those are reboots, along with trailers for Megan, Oh My, and VHS 99. All this and more coming up next. I'm your host, Doc Rodden, and this is H&R, the official Gruesome Magazine Horror News Podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, bloodiest co-hosts on the internet. And that means Dave Dreher, lead news writer.
It's me.
Gruesome Magazine.
I'm representing everyone tonight.
You are.
Just you and me. Doc and Dave show tonight.
Yes.
Well, as it should be.
As it should be. And yes. Exactly. But we do have a trio of segments, each one with a trio of things in it. So I don't know what that means, but we're all about that these days. So we got some exciting news for you. So this will be fun stuff. Yes.
Yep. We got some pretty exciting news. The trailers in particular, I'm very excited for everyone to get a look at.
Me too. All right. Let's start off with upcoming films. We've got some fun stuff for you. First up, Dave, are you a fan of the Wicker Man? The Wicker Man from the original from the 70s with Christopher Lee, or even the remake with Nicolas Cage. I don't care which one.
Whichever one. I don't think I ever really truly appreciated the Wicker Man until I got older. I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I was just like, what? But watch it now as an adult, much better. But the Christopher Lee version is by far
superior.
The version. I mean, that is the version, right? Who knows? Maybe this new TV adaptation will end up being the version.
Well, that's exactly what I'm heading toward. So we are, after 50 years from Robin Hardy's horror classic original, we are getting a TV series based on it from writer Howard Overman, and I don't know what to think about this. What do you think? Is this going to be the property
I'm not sure how it'll play out in TV form. Is it going to be a series, or are we just talking like one of those three segmented movie?
You know what? I read it as a series, but they're only saying it's a TV adaptation.
Yeah, so I think as like what we used to know as a mini series, it might work. But yeah, if they're trying to do a 10-episode thing and then continue this anywhere past that, really, once you set the Wicker Man on fire, what else can you do? What's he gonna do? Go around and sell Avon? I don't understand. Very confused.
Yeah, it does say that Overman has created a bold, shocking, unique series, putting the themes and terrifying power of the original Wicker Man into a thrilling modern setting. So it does eventually say series in here. But they're going to explore the themes of sacrifice, superstition, and ritual, which are at the core of the first one.
Makes sense.
To me, it's all going to hinge on who gets cast in the lead roles, right? Because you've got the police officer or the investigator person, whoever that ends up being. It could be anybody at this point, right? And then you've got
Edward Woodward, of course, in the original.
Yes. And then you have, the people on the other side doing the evil things, which Christopher Lee was at the head of. So
iconic performance. I don't really know how you top that. Did you like the Nicolas Cage version?
No. No, and I'm with you about the original.
That is the correct answer.
And I'm with you about the original. As a young adult, I didn't care for it at all.
I just didn't get it. You watch it now as an adult, and you're like, okay. All right.
As I grew older, it starts like, okay, I understand that, and so yeah, it is very much, the an adult horror film.
Very much so.
In that context, and also one of the early folk horror films that established folk horror as a thing, which still goes strong today.
It does indeed. There's still a Shudder category for it. So it's still big news.
If it's still a Shudder category,
it's still relevant.
All right, but of course, we're going to share news about it as it comes out. I guess the only thing we also didn't say is that Andy Serkis is involved with it. It's his company Imaginarium that is behind it. So
he does tend to have a magic touch with a lot of things. So, that bodes well for it.
Yeah, I don't know how involved he will be outside of producing, but yeah, it's worth noting.
I'm sure, with all this stuff going on in streaming now, I mean, the demand for content is just so huge. So,
oh my God, it's and the amount of good content is insane. It is hard to keep up with all the really good content. And we're not done. There is more streaming content coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of set that up nicely, didn't I?
Yes,
I didn't even mean to. Yes, Doc is alluding to a new Peacock series. Peacock is really getting into the horror game heavy. They really are. I don't know if you've been clicking around. Yeah, if you've been clicking around, during the haunt season here, looking for stuff to watch. There's a ton of it on Peacock. But
it is Universal, so
Yeah, that does kind of make sense, doesn't it? What we're talking about, though, is Saint Donatus. You think it's Donatus or Donatus?
I was saying Donatus, but you can say Donatus.
I was saying donuts. So
you were saying donuts.
But I'm going to go Saint Donatus. This is going to be, again, as I mentioned, a Peacock streaming exclusive. And it's going to be about a small town in Iowa. Ooh, I wonder if Jeff Moore's going to be
No, where's Jeff when you need him?
With a dark secret. An unwitting family relocated from Brooklyn moves into a newly renovated farmhouse on the outskirts of town, and they start experiencing, you guessed it, Doc, unsettling occurrences.
Those are the worst.
Which leads them to uncover the town's secret and the thing that's trapped in the cellar.
The thing in the cellar. That sounds promising. That sounds promising. I like that idea.
It really does. It sounds kind of cool. Now, I don't think we have any. Looking through here a little bit, we don't have any casting news or anything yet. I don't think, but they do have the back end of things kind of in line. Eric Camello, Nicole Snyder, Sean Hayes, Ton Milners of something called Hazy Mill Productions. They're teaming up with Universal TV. And Richard Shepard will direct, who did Ringer and The Perfection.
Yep. So we need to get Jeff on board because he is in Iowa. So he needs to tell us what dark secrets he has in Iowa.
We need to know. They're saying this Hazy Mills production company was responsible for Hot in Cleveland and Grimm, both which were very popular.
Ah, yes, Grimm
series. So again, I'm all for it. I love the fact that this new streaming world allows for things like this to happen. It's just fun. I don't know if we would ever gotten this on broadcast TV. So,
back in the day, we would scour the TV stuff for anything related.
Trying to find something, which is why we all watched Twilight Zone 37,000 times.
Yep. I mean, we did get our occasional series, Thriller this.
Yeah, Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
Night Stalker, that. Yeah. And then later we would get remember Werewolf and was it what's the one that had the creatures? Monsters. Remember?
Oh, Monsters. Tales from the Dark Side. Yeah, those all came around. Tales from the Dark Side was always hard to find. It was always on some weird UHF channel somewhere.
Yep. You don't know how lucky you got it. Streaming is awesome. And
back in our days, we had to walk uphill both ways to watch a horror show.
We did in the snow with bare feet. All right. Okay. So let's we went back to the 70s to talk about Wicker Man. Let's go back to the late 60s, just a few more years. Talk about a remake of a film that starred a controversial up-and-coming actress and a very sci-fi at the time, still maybe, and and a very interesting comic book property. It was Barbarella, of course, and it's getting remade. I've always wondered why this property has never attracted a new audience, right? Because it came out in '68, Jane Fonda as Barbarella. And it has the character Duran, sort of. I think it's Durand, but
yeah,
it gave birth to the band Duran in the '80s. I don't know if you knew that, but
I did. That's the stuff of legend, Doc.
That was a thing, right? That was a thing. Now, what actress would you imagine could step into the role that Jane Fonda originated in 1968?
Well, let's see, because Jane Fonda ran around basically nude. So, I mean, back in those days, that was very controversial. I remember that, because I would have been like 10, 11, 12 years old when Barbarella came out. And, the fact that she was so scantily clad was very controversial.
Yes.
But there's a wealth of people, Doc. There's a wealth of people. I cannot even begin to ponder who it might be.
Well, I know the answer. Thanks to Deadline. Sydney Sweeney is attached to star and produce Barbarella. Now, she is an up-and-coming... I wouldn't even know if she's up-and-coming anymore. I think she's here.
Yeah, I think so. She's real popular in Euphoria.
Yep.
Which is where I've seen her.
White Lotus as well. Euphoria. She's got a huge following there. A very talented actress who does not shy away from, scantily clad. So she seems to be maybe the right person to tackle this. I kind of feel like I don't know who I would have thought of before I heard this, but now that I hear it, I can't think of anybody else.
No. I mean, the first thing that would pop into my mind was, oh my gosh, her name's eluded me. Who's the chick that plays Harley Quinn?
Oh,
I can't think of her name now. It saved my life. But she's got the look too.
Robbie. Yep.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But yeah, the thing is, Barbarella's
she's almost too big now. So
yeah, that's true. It's just not that great of a movie. I mean, it really isn't. So
it's a kind of campy, yes. I mean,
yeah. So I mean, hopefully they bring some actual story development to it, because there wasn't much of a storyline. The storyline pretty much was, let's get Jane Fonda as naked as we can and have her roll around a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, it suffers the same thing like Flash Gordon does. There's this. It's serialized storytelling, like most comic books are, and there's a broad story. So what story do you pick? How do you choose it?
Yes.
I think 1968, you didn't have the MCU to kind of show you the way.
That's true.
I think now not to say there haven't been misfires, but I think there is a way to take this property and bring something a little bit more coherent and less campy, but it kind of needs a little bit of that flavor, because it kind of, it's kind of a silly sci-fi, story.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely going to have to keep that. Just reading here in the news article, there no writer or director is yet attached. So basically all we know is that Sydney Sweeney wants to play this role because she is going to executive produce. So it sounds like she just bought the property and she says, we're making this.
Well, in Hollywood, that's usually what it goes. As soon as you have somebody, either a director or an actor attached to it, it will get made. It will get made. So it will happen.
I'm on board. Bring it on.
Yep. And of course we will bring news about it, even though it's more on the sci-fi side. There is definitely enough of it for us to talk about here. All right. Well, that, sir, is our news for up and coming films, new releases that we're just learning about. And I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you, the listeners, enjoyed it as well. And if you did, hit the like and the subscribe button. Share with a friend. Every little bit helps, and only you can help us reach our goal of reaching 5,000 subscribers.
5,000, inching ever closer.
All right. Thank you. Let's we've got more. Look ahead. There's more coming.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about casting news, shall we? I think we shall.
Yeah, we might as well. It's the next thing on the list, so let's do it.
Recently, we talked that they are going to make a Strangers remake, a reboot, not another sequel like they did a few years back, but a reboot. Now, did you watch Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power?
I have not. Everyone keeps telling me I should, because apparently it's quite good, but I have not watched it. Fantasy I'm not big on the fantasy stuff.
I can be, and I've watched some of it, but there's just so much. Like we talked earlier, there's so much I can't keep up with it. It's something I need to binge the last few episodes here, because it just, as we're recording over the past weekend, it just ended for the first season. And like you said, it's got a lot of positive reviews, but that's not why we're here. Why we're here is that one of the actresses, Ema Horvath, is now attached to star alongside Madeline Pesch and Froy Gutierrez and Gabriel Basso in Lionsgate's, excuse me. I put the S in the wrong place. Lionsgate's remake or reboot of The Strangers.
It's kind of an odd, don't you think it's kind of an odd reboot? I mean, it's what, like 15 years old, rough and dirty?
Yeah. Came out in 2008.
It's such a simple tale. I don't know what they could possibly do any different. I think Brian Bertano's film still holds up.
Well, what they're doing is this one's going to an Airbnb, so it's not their own home. It's they're traveling, and this happens while they're there. So
okay,
it's
I'm not sure that'll make that much of a difference. But I wonder if we'll get the three masks, or if we'll get different masks.
I think I would imagine we get different masks, but you never know. What'd you think of the sequel that we got a few years back?
I thought it was okay, because that was like at the 10-year anniversary, basically, right? That came out right around 2018.
Yeah, close.
Which
to that,
yeah, so it would have been right around a decade, and it was more of a continuation. Loosely, yeah, kinda. So it didn't really bother me. But with that being said, as we're sitting here talking about it now, I really can't recall much about it. So I mean, it wasn't like earth shaking.
Now, here's the one thing. I don't know if this will make you happy or make you wince. It'll be interesting to see your reaction. Now, we said this a couple of weeks back, but maybe you've forgotten. The director of this is going to be Rennie Harlin.
Yeah, I do remember that. And actually, I am probably in the minority here, but I actually am kind of a fan of Rennie Harlin. I really am.
I am his early stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Die Hard 2, great fun. The Long Kiss Goodnight, great fun. Cliffhanger, great fun. Yep. Deep Blue Sea, come on, Deep Blue Sea.
After Deep Blue Sea, it gets a little scary, but yes.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it kind of does a little bit. But yeah, so I'd have to say I'm kind of. You're making me admit that I'm kind of a Rennie Harlin fan. So yes, that does kind of change it for me a little bit.
So, in the positive way, it seems.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. All right. There's one other. Why not? Let's see. There is another film that I want to bring up. Let me make sure I get the right one. It's not Adventures in Ford Fairlane, although that is kind of a. But he did A Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
That's right.
Dream Master.
The Dream Master. I forgot about that.
He did that hot off his film Prison, which I remember being fairly good.
Now, see, I don't recall Prison. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I blocked Prison from my mind.
But he went from, like you said, those two into Die Hard 2, and then Adventures in Ford Fairlane, and then Cliffhanger. Cutthroat Island. Well,
Cutthroat Island, I remember that one.
Yeah. Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, and he was also one of the two directors that did the sequels for
The Exorcist. Yeah, the Exorcist.
His was Exorcist at the beginning, yeah. But anyway, so we're really talking about casting. So those Lord of the Ring fans out there, or Rings of Power fans, I guess we should say, Ema Horvath, is going to be part of the remake. So check that out. We'll have more news as we get closer to its release.
She'll be terrorized by the masked.
Now we've talked about a number of streaming channels. We always talk about Shudder. We talked about Peacock earlier on another segment. Now we're going to talk about Paramount Plus, Dave.
Yes, we are.
Now, who is what? Okay, I would imagine you have a number of iconic actresses from the 80s that are still active today that you follow. Is Dee Wallace one of them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
of course she is, right?
Yeah. She always she seems to keep herself just active enough that she's always in something. She owes a lot of her career later in life to Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's put her in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She's kind of found a new fan base because of that. But of course, we remember her from what, Cujo and yeah, I mean, right? I mean, and how do you go wrong? And E.T. I mean, come on, it's freaking E.T.'s mom, or not E.T.'s mom, but Drew Barrymore's mom
in E.T.
But yeah, she is definitely iconic, and yeah, so. Paramount Plus, again, as we were talking about content, everyone wants content. They are developing a series for Fatal Attraction, which of course was the Michael Douglas thriller from back in the day. Who played the psycho woman in that one? Why can't I remember her name? Glenn Close.
Glenn Close.
Yeah, Glenn Close was the psycho woman in that. Again, another very controversial movie at the time because it was so sexy, right? I mean,
sexy and violent, and it was bringing two things together.
It was blatantly sexy.
Yes.
So anyway, Dee Wallace has been added to the cast of this new series, which is going to be imagine reimagining. We love that word, don't we, Doc?
Maybe.
Dee was going to portray Emma Roche, who is described as an open, friendly, chic, and interested, but also sensitive to boundaries. That is an oddly worded sentence they typed.
It is.
A retired career woman who's enthusiastic and a helpful volunteer, mother of adult children, and a student of life. It sounds like it's a freaking dating site profile. Someone anyone but Alex, being played by Lizzie Kaplan, would be thrilled to have as their neighbor.
Lizzie Kaplan is that's a good choice. I did not know that. I missed that. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So again,
do we know who's playing the Michael Douglas role?
I'm assuming it is David Meunier, Meun, from Justified. They're just saying that he's joined the cast, so I'm not sure. It says here Meunier will portray Richard McCaskey, a psychological professor at the university, and Ellen, thesis advisor, mentor, and friend, whose personal interest in the work and life of Carl Jung ignites Ellen's own interest. That's what the article's saying here.
Yeah, it also is going to star Joshua Jackson, Amanda Peet. I would imagine Joshua Jackson is.
I like Amanda Peet too. Amanda Peet is good.
Yeah.
Good casting there.
Toby Huss.
So yeah, they're not really telling us a whole bunch, but they've definitely built a great ensemble cast. I think we can agree on that.
Are we excited about this? Are we excited that Fatal Attraction is going to become a TV show?
I don't know about excited. I would say I'm interested.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, this is one of those ones that's like borderline on. I mean, really, Fatal Attraction didn't become horrific till the very end.
But it did when it did. When it
turned on. When that worm turned, it turned ugly.
Yes, that was. It again, that's one of those properties that are on the fringe of horror, but close enough that we claim it as our own. I remember when that came out. It was so good and so intense. I went to the theaters and watched it, and then I watched it like 100 times on HBO or something like that.
Yeah. When it came out on HBO and on video cassette,
but in the theaters, oh my God, it was intense. So that's Dee Wallace. We talked about Emma. Let's talk about somebody we talked about in our last segment.
I was going to say, what's up with this chick? She's everywhere.
Sydney Sweeney is back, this time with a film that's going to be a little closer to horror than Barbarella. This one is called The Caretaker, which is it's a adaptation of a short story by Marcus Kluwer. Are you familiar with this author?
I am not. That is one that I do not know.
I am not familiar either, and they said that it's going to drop the short story on Reddit.
Oh, interesting.
But it's already been sold to be a movie. And Sydney Sweeney is.
I think it's important to note that this is going to be a Platinum Dunes film, so that means Michael Bay, and Brad Fuller, of course, because that's where they are. I don't think Michael Bay is directing, is he?
No, he is not.
That's probably a good thing.
I can't imagine him directing this one.
But the short story is called "We Used to Live Here," The Caretaker. That's the name of the story, and it's going to drop on Reddit. That's what I'm reading here.
Yep.
The package came together once word got out that like his previous short story. Okay, I'm sorry. His previous short story was "We Used to Live Here," which Netflix bought and is currently on Netflix, I believe.
Mhm.
So The Caretaker is another by the same author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a story of a young woman who accepts a caretaking job from Craigslist and quickly discovers her responsibilities have stakes far greater, sir, and more dangerous, far greater and more dangerous than she could ever have imagined. So she's in a lot of trouble.
So this is kind of exact opposite of Barbarella. I mean, in this one here, she's going in harm's way.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So we'll see what pull it off. I mean, really, she's kind of running the gamut with these two projects that have gotten announced at almost basically simultaneously. So, be interesting to see where it goes.
Now, like I asked you earlier, but you can say it again. Are you a fan of Sydney Sweeney?
I don't know that I am because I did not watch that Rings thing. And what else has she been in that I might know her from?
Well, she was in The White Lotus, which was
I know her. Yeah, I know her from that show on HBO Max.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen her on there. But I mean, yeah, she seems to be very talented. She's obviously very attractive.
Yeah,
so
she has a really interesting film called Voyeurs out there. That's different. So you should. And she's filming right now. She's filming Madam Web.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I like her choices in projects.
Yep. So she's obviously it's Spider-Man, but it's not MCU. So
very cool.
But there you go. That's our casting news for this week.
Our all Sydney Sweeney episode.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, we don't have a trailer, but that's our next segment. But all right, if you enjoyed our casting segment, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend. Every little click helps, and we're trying to reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, and only you can help us reach it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you ready to do some trailers, sir?
I am. I'm excited about these trailers.
We got some. Now, one of these is more controversial or more buzzworthy, I guess is the word, than the others. But for really strange reasons. But they're all going to be good.
Let's watch them
for different reasons. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start off with the one, but yet it's supposed to be that way.
That's
right?
good. And you probably noticed it said that James Wan is involved in this, which is awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Whoop, sorry about that. That was loud.
Excuse me.
Pardon me.
Yeah, I think I'm officially excited. I think I'm officially excited to see the Megan movie.
I am too.
Bring it on.
Is it going to be good?
I don't know that I don't know that it matters.
Good for laughs. I mean, it seems. Yeah, it might not matter, right? It might not matter at all. All right, sir, that we are fans of anthology films, and we're also fans of found footage films. And one is coming. It's a wonderful series. The next installment of that series is coming to Shudder here in just about a week on October 20th. Here, I guess toward the end of this week, sir, we are going to have a review for you this week. You may have already seen this. VHS 99. Are you ready to take a look at the trailer?
I am.
Because this is insane. Now, of course. Oh, fresh toast taste the best. That's awesome.
Like doing your Golem impersonation.
And this is 1999, so you know that.
Yeah, we get the modem sounds and the.
But Flying Lotus is back to do some. Maggie Levin, excuse me. Tyler McIntyre is doing a segment. Johannes Roberts is doing a segment. He's the one that did the sequel for.
Spend the night in a coffin.
For the Strangers that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Joseph Winter and Vanessa Winter are going to direct a segment called To Hell and Back. This looks fantastic. What are your thoughts, sir?
You know, having already seen the film, I don't think the trailer does it justice.
Oh no, you've already seen the film.
Yeah, but the again, so it's kind of hard to base this but I mean, I think they were purposely trying to cut a trailer that didn't reveal much.
Did they do that?
Yeah, and I think they I think they achieved that. But I'm not sure if I was just coming in cold watching, I'd be like, oh yeah, I got to see that. I don't think it's a particularly great trailer, but luckily I can attest to the fact that you should watch the movie anyway.
All right, and you will be reviewing it later this week for Gruesome Magazine, so check that out. I will be too, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, what are you waiting for?
As
soon as I seen it in the folder, I'm like, yep.
Life. It'll be tonight or tomorrow.
You've been too busy watching Halloween Kills over and over, or Halloween Ends over and over.
Yes, that and I'm not going to say I'm too embarrassed. All right, that is coming October 20th, so we hope you enjoyed that trailer. Here we got When I saw this trailer, the Asylum always makes really
say no more.
Right. We don't have to say anything else, right?
Mockbusters,
all kinds of craziness. This is a minute and a half of just zaniness, not good zaniness. Well, not a good movie, but good zaniness. It's called Headless Horseman. But when you see
there's no horse.
There's no horse. Well, there's horse powered, but
and the guy still has his head. He just has a pumpkin on his head.
yeah. All right, let's do it. Headless Horseman. This is
Angel,
okay.
Just let me pay you back.
You think you found your girl?
I have to go to work.
You just gotta love how these actors, they play it so straight.
Well, I mean, that's good. You should.
Yeah, it's good, but it just really adds to the fun.
I don't get it. What she sees in you.
Oh,
That ain't good. That'll ruin your day.
Who are you?
Help has arrived.
Sophia.
help us arrive.
Has taken her.
And you want her back.
Yes.
I will give
They
you
are
the
definitely
you will do
being
the
a little closer to Ghost Rider than they are to Headless Horseman. With
Oh
this,
my
but-
God, yes. Yeah.
But in a kind of
fuel,
fantastic way.
blood.
Is anyone's name Ichabod?
He's alive.
No.
He's not normal. He's
Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. There it is. Okay. I kind of love it.
Oh, that's so awesome. I
It's
love it.
terrible, but I kind of love it.
Oh, it is, but it's terrible for all the right reasons.
Right,
You will be
right.
unstoppable.
I like the Freddy Krueger claw thing.
He's
Very
got,
cool.
yeah.
Boss, the girl got away.
What's up with that dude's hair?
That dude's here.
You will be the instrument.
It looks so bad.
So he's got a pumpkin head. He bites people, and he's got a claw, and he's called the Headless Horseman. Four
Yeah.
things that don't belong
You know,
together.
the way this is great here at the end when he pulls the head off and listen. So they're again not headless, not on a horse. They could have called it just Flaming Pumpkin Head Dude.
Flaming pumpkin head.
but again, this is what the Asylum does, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's what they're known for. No one does it quite like them.
No one does. Yeah. And I don't know. You got at some point, I don't know if we're going to review this, but at some point you're going to watch it and you're going to have to let us know what it is.
It's fun,
That's our trailers for tonight. Exciting trailers, at least some of them. Megan surprised the hell out of me. Because when we first heard about it, just like what? But the trailer is like, oh crap. VHS 99, of course, is just yet another found footage, a treasure for me to enjoy.
Yes, I can't believe you haven't watched it yet. I'm finding it hard to believe you haven't watched it yet.
I don't know what's wrong with me. Of course, they announced that they're doing VHS 85 next year. So hey. And then the Headless Horseman. Come on. Headless Horseman is out now. I would imagine it. I don't know where it's going, but I imagine it's on. Don't Asylum have their own like channel?